Hi guys. Okay, so I don't usually record videos, but I felt like this was kind of meriting of a video just because I think it's just amazing. So I wanted to share with you guys a couple of the things that I went and got at the bookstore the other day because I feel like of all people, you guys will understand my excitement. Um, so the first thing, I went to a bookstore called Strand. If you know about places in New York, if you're from New York, from the area, you probably know what Strand is. You might have just heard about it otherwise. It's a very, very, very large, very old used bookstore. So basically, they take in used books, and there's tons of stuff there, and it's absolutely amazing. I could spend hours in Strand, and I do. I really, really like the children's section. Obviously, it kind of goes with what I'm studying and what I'm doing with my life. So spend a lot of time there. Actually, almost all of those books are all the big ones are children's books. So, and I have other ones obviously, including the ones I'm going to show you today. So basically, it's an amazing place. And I was there the other day, and I actually went up to what's called their rare books floor, which is a floor that they have rare books, unusual books, and common books, books that are old, vintage books, things like that. Just books that you can't really find elsewhere. I was walking around, and my first thought, of course, was to go to the children's section. And I ended up finding a lot of little golden books, which I haven't really seen since I was a little kid. But even when I would see them, they were the ones that were about this big. They weren't big, but they weren't small, or they weren't tiny at least. But I found a bunch of little books that looked about this size, and so they're the size of my palm. And I actually ended up deciding to get all 8 of the Disney ones that I found. So I found Peter Pan, Snow White, Dumbo, 101 Dalmatians, Beauty and the Beast, which I think is funny, so I'm going to put that aside for a second. Prince and the Pauper, which is kind of cool. Little Mermaid, which favorite, so. And Pinocchio. So I just thought that was really neat. I thought it was cool that there were some a mixture of old and new, as far as Renaissance versus originals. So I thought that was really cool, and they're amazing, and they're, I don't want to break them. But they're full stories on the inside, and oh, it's just so cute, and they're illustrated, and they're just amazing. So I'm excited about it, and I'm excited to have them now and have my little collection. So that was a really cool thing I found. And then the other thing I found I'd actually seen before, but I hadn't seen this particular story. So I'd gone a couple weeks ago with a friend of mine, and we were in the children's section, as I always am. And we saw these pop-up books, and they're amazing, really intricate pop-up books, but I just wasn't really sold on which story I wanted to get. And at the time there was an Alice in Wonderland one, but it was the only one, and it was ripped, and I was kind of unenthused about it. And I feel like there was a Peter Pan one, but I'm not sure. There was definitely a Cinderella one. There was a Little Mermaid one, but it was the original Little Mermaid, and I'm not a huge fan of the original Little Mermaid story. Hey, I like it, but it's not my favorite, and I just, of course, have my I like the Disney version more, because I'm an idealist and things like that, and I want Ariel and Eric to end up together. So I was not really sold. And then for the past, 2 weeks ago, I read Beauty and the Beast, the original story, for the first time. I'd actually not read it at all. I've read Hans Christian Andersen, some of his fairy tales, and I've read some of the Grimm's brother fairy tales and whatnot, and obviously done that. But I mean, the original story isn't a Grimm's or any of the typical fairy tales. It's by someone else. Her name's Jean something. I wonder if it says it. Either way, I could look it up if I wanted to. But I found out that that was my favorite, fairy tale, original fairy tale. As of right now, that's by far my favorite. I really like how Beast is portrayed, and I just really like that story. It was a really interesting one to read, and it's also very interesting to look at it in relation to Beauty and the Beast, the film, since that film is also very progressive, but they're very different in the way that they're progressive. So I just think it's really cool. They're equally amazing, but I really like the story. And so when I went back the other day, I was actually going to get Where the Wild Things Are, which I haven't read in a while, but I have to read it for a class. I went to get that book, and I ended up walking over to go look at these books again because I was I'm in love with them. And I found 2 copies of Beauty and the Beast. And they're the original story, which makes them all the better. And one of them was wrapped in a bag. And I'm very, I have a weird aversion to, when I want something pretty, if that makes sense. Just because it's a pop-up book, I was, very, used? What if it's, whatever. So the fact it was in a bag, I was, or, a little wrapping, I was, great. So I ended up getting it. I just want to show you guys how amazing this book is. Absolutely how incredible. So I'm just going to kind of open it up, and I'll kind of try to tell you the, original story, just so you know. Basically, there was, an old merchant, and he had 3 daughters and 3 sons. Yeah. And the 2 daughters, 2 older daughters, were kind of douchebags. The 2 sons were really, really nice and very emotional, but the 2 daughters are, mean. And the 3rd daughter was Beauty, of course, and she was the most beautiful and the most, kind-hearted and sweet. Everyone wanted to marry her and not her older sisters, who I think ended up becoming Gaston / the Bimbettes in the movie if they were going to, shrink those characters down and then turn them into another person. I think that's who that became. Basically, they were, really, really mean to her, and very selfish. And at one point, the, merchant said, oh, I'm going to go off, and the 2 older daughters were like, hey, will you get us these beautiful dresses? And he, turned to Beauty, and Beauty didn't want to seem like she thought she was better than them, so she asked for just a twig or a flower from wherever he went. So he ended up getting lost, as you kind of know, or he went, there's a whole money discrepancy, things like that. He, went to try to solve something, came back, all this stuff. He ended up getting lost, and he ended up finding his way here. So this is, the castle, and it's huge. The pop-up is amazing. And then they have these really cool, these pages over here pop out, and they have other pop-outs in them. But then there's this, and you can actually look down the hall. I can't do it, I tried it. But you basically look down the hallway in the castle. You look through here, and you can see the hallway that is described on the little thing I just pulled out. So that's incredible. So anyways, he gets caught by the Beast, and the Beast, of course, tells him that he's going to kill him if he doesn't find someone to take his place. So he goes back, and he tells his daughters, they're going to kill me if I don't find someone to take my place. And because technically he got caught while he was looking for a flower, the 2 older daughters blame Beauty, and Beauty's like, well, it's okay, because I'm going to go and take his place. It's fine. And so she agrees to do that. The father says goodbye. She goes out to the castle, and she ends up, befriending the Beast. And the Beast the entire time just, showers her in gifts. So here's their, having dinner. Amazing. Showers her in gifts, is, really, really nice to her, really friendly. And at one point, he shows her this mirror. So wait, look at this page. You, open the page, and as you open it, the mirror reveals the, character. Wait, you can't see. Reveals the, her home and, whatever. It's amazing. Basically, she finds out that her dad is in need of her, so she makes an agreement with him that she's going to go back for a week, and he says that, it's okay that she goes, it's totally fine, and if she doesn't come back after the week, it's her decision, but if she doesn't come back after the week, he's probably going to die of a broken heart. He's asked her to marry him quite a few times by this point, and she's just been like, I'm sorry, I can't do that, I can't bring myself to love you. And he's like, it's okay, it's fine, I'm a beast, it's okay, I understand. So she ends up leaving, and her sisters are mean, and they've, gotten married, and they realize that, Beauty's actually happier than they are in their, marriages that they fought so hard for, fought so hard to, remove Beauty from the equation, at least. And so they find out about the week agreement, and so they set to work to making sure that she feels like she's really loved out of nowhere, they finally treat her with respect. And so she's like, I'm going to stay for longer. So she ends up staying for longer than a week. So this is the sisters and Beauty. Amazing. It's just incredible. And Beast, of course, after a week becomes really sad, and he starts to die of a broken heart. Beauty rushes off. She realizes that she loves him and that she can't live without him. She goes back, and she saves him. Right? So here's the little page, and there's Beauty crying over the Beast. And then down in the corner, oh, I want to open. this part. Down in the, okay, you can't see when it gets dark. Down in the corner, he goes from being a beast to being, where is it? To being a boy. Wait. To being a man. Wait. Hold on. Oh god, this is so hard to do while looking on the camera. But he becomes a guy. That's a really weird looking thing without my ability to use both hands. And then they get married and they live happily ever after. Like, it's just incredible. Like, the amount of depth that's in this book and the way that it's like, there's so many different pages and so many different things that pop up, and oh, it's just the most beautiful. Like, it's almost like watching a movie. So I'm like, I just went on for a very long time, but it's absolutely amazing. And I just needed to share it. So yeah. This is a really weird video. I don't know why I'm recording it other than the fact that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed by my love for this book. Let me know if you guys ever want me to record anything on video. I have things to do, or I don't have things to do on Wednesdays, so I can make videos if anyone has anything. I can talk about fairy tales forever. Anyway, this is a weird ending. I don't know why I just said that. Okay, I'm done now. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye. Bye-bye.